GG is a term often used less formally to say good game, but what if the person on your team dropped, or your opponent abuses game mechanics and uses exploits? Here are the top 10 things you don't say GG to. Number 10. Let's start off with the one common for lower players.
Are we serious,
Explorer and companion laming. This is when your opponent uses their explorer and or companion units such as dogs, scouts, converted pets, or worse, rescued military units to attack your villagers. Not only is this annoying, but sometimes it actually is effective. One rescued tomahawk can single-handedly win the game before you even age up. Try using your villager in melee or TC fire to knock out these annoying units easily, but either way, they're just flat out annoying to deal with, especially if your forward base is destroyed. Number 9. Wall lamers. Depending on your game mode, a wall could be your most effective building. More often than not, they don't cause many problems, but occasionally you come across a player who is convinced extensive fortifications are not only the best defense, but also the best offense. These players can be seen in everything from treaty, to free-for-all, to normal supremacy. They will often use ranged units right behind their walls, and will always make way more than are needed. Often after the game is over, the entire minimap will be covered with their color because that much of the map was covered with their walls. Even with good siege units and artillery, these players will feel impenetrable to come up against. Don't feel bad if you just want to resign and contemplate your life after playing them. Number 8. The player who hides their last villager. We have all played against this one. You've finally overcome an amazing stalemate that lasted ages, broken through their last line of defense, and have started to pillage their once glorious town. You take everything down from their town center to their last wall pillar, but one thing does not happen. There is no resignation. You then go on a search for any remaining units for what seems like longer than the length of the game itself, to then find them behind an incredibly convenient landmass that perfectly fits one villager. Don't worry, we've all been there. Fortunately, with the Asian Dynasties expansion, the trade monopoly victory is an easy solution to those hide-and-seek opponents. That makes achieving victory much easier than going Age 5 and getting spies. Either way, these opponents rarely see a GG after their game. Number 7. Any Iroquois player on RE. The Iroquois are by far the most overpowered 1v1 civilization in Age of Empires 3. With their ability to get a trade post off the start, this already strong native civ just became unbeatable. Imagine pairing the power of Ottoman units with the speed of an Aztec rush. Yep, that's Iro. With access to invisible skirmishers and the infamous French cavalry as a shipment, nothing seems out of reach for this civ. Did I mention their culverin and falconet are the same unit? The list goes on and on. My recommendation is to never ready against an Iro, but if you do, don't feel like you're up for a fair match. All the marbles are in your opponent's favor. Number 6. Team resource feeders. Fortunately, these groups have become minimal with the decay of team versus team games. You know, those lobbies that already have 3 players on the same team. Nothing screams more rigged than that. Proof is the strategy of feeding your teammate your resources. This play became most popular in the days of vanilla, but you occasionally see it still today. Essentially, one player picks a civilization with an amazing Age 4 team shipment in a 3v3 or 4v4 game, most commonly Ottoman with their Team 4 Spahi shipment. The other players on the same team stay Age 1, feed all their resources to their teammate, and their teammate flies through the ages instantly. That teammate then ships the team units, and you have sometimes up to 16 Spahi on the battlefield within 8 minutes. Did I mention the possibility to go Revolution and feed your teammate for Imperial Cav? It gets even worse when you add resource-heavy maps such as Deccan. This is why I suggest to never play against a team of 3 or 4 ever again, unless you have your own team as such. Number 5. Explore Respawn Exploit. One of the most annoying game exploits, this is one I'd like not to talk about. Here your opponent uses a magical keyboard combination to suddenly resurrect their explorer without any nearby units. Your only solution is to keep military units right on top of them so they cannot continually respawn their hero. This becomes particularly annoying against already lame civs like Japan that have 2 explorers. You can kill them both and still have to chase after them. If you're one of these players, I hope you feel the guilt and shame every time you consider this exploit. Number 4. Daimyo Lamers. These could be one of the most annoying on this list to deal with. We already know how strong Japan's daimyos are. They have great Aurora booster units, have a high attack and high hit point base, can have shipments sent to them, be retrained at the wonder, and of course, can train military units. But that is where it gets out of hand. Particularly tied with Japan's ability to have 10 block train time and a card that lets them train units faster at their daimyo compared to any other location, and you have a storm to deal with. Not only is it a pain in the butt to deal with them in the open battlefield, but players will actually send a single daimyo back to the corner of your base, train 50 Ashigaru, Samurai, or Naginata within the blink of an eye, and then assault everything that you worked so hard to build up over the space of the entire game. Even worse, the Shogun can be sent back to train 10 mortars that will instantly destroy any building. Why is this a thing? Whose idea was this? Even worse, who actually wants to win like this? Don't feel bad if this is the cause of your loss, because it almost is entirely not your fault. Number 3. Players dropping. The most realistic option on this list is your teammate dropping. Why on earth do players actually say GG when one of their opponent's teammates dropped from the game? It is clearly not a good game. It is a bad one. If anything, they should be saying sorry to their opponent to have their time wasted and fun crushed. I think the fact that people say GG after something like this shows they actually don't have any care in the phrase referring to a good game. It's almost like they're robots and just say it by default after every game. Hopefully people actually mean it when they say it. Maybe I'm looking too into it, but either way, if your teammate drops from the game, don't feel like you need to say GG, because it's not. Furthermore, if you're playing against someone that this happened to, show them some empathy because you've been there too. Number 2. Here's one everyone has been waiting for, the French Cav spammer. These players are close to the peak of toxic online players. Please note, I'm not referring to just any French player, because there are many out there who actually don't use their French Cav as much as they should. And power to you. I wish more people who played France got a taste of how strong their Dragoon and Skirmisher combo is, or the Musketeer Cannon combo, or their Grenadiers from the Church. It's what all makes France so OP. However, there are a select group that exclusively play for their heavy cav. Not only do they play for them, but they decide not to use a single other unit. You know who these players are because as soon as they finally decide to switch away from that cavalry to an infantry, those infantry units are not even close to being upgraded. The worst part is the fact that their cav are instant. As soon as you beat a mass and get up to the stable, a huge batch of 40 will instantly spawn in. It's a definition of lame and can even be paired with the number 1 on this list. Number 1. The Cav Box. The apex of toxic Age of Empires play is the beyond broken overlapping cavalry box. Most often used with Russia, this formation literally causes heart attacks. As soon as you see this, you recontemplate every aspect of your life within 1 millisecond. This play is easily the most aggravating because it is easily avoidable. It would be different if the player approached your base with a base formation of 50 Oprichniks, but no, they must all be placed in a space smaller than your barracks and must always go right for your factory. The worst part is that it's not even exclusive to Russia. The much stronger cav boxes come from previously mentioned France, or even worse, Sioux, where dog soldiers with their added war dance attack immediately destroy everything in sight. It's so demoralizing to play an entire game, then have it end like this. Why play? I would happily give you my PR points if you want them that badly, otherwise let's play a real game. This does not need to be played in any game. If it gets to this point, then that summarizes your character and skill as a player in the community. I purposely never try to post this play. Granted, there were a few times when I did do this back in the day and I did get out of hand, but it's just toxic and it doesn't promote anything good. Along with me on this list, I'm sure we've all been there, but let's agree not to be there again. Thanks for watching. Let me know what honorable mentions you guys have in mind in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was kind of funny for you, and just really enjoy these kind of top 10 videos talking about different parts of the game and specifically player types. I think it's pretty funny, but I actually was attacked by a cav box recently and was contemplating, you know what, I need to do something where it just summarizes all these different toxic kinds of play. So let me know which ones I missed. I think this is definitely a bulk of them. And yeah, so thankful for you guys' support, and I'll see you guys in the next video.